Like, I don't know if a lot of you Fisker fanboys are upset because you're investors and that makes you biased, or you bought the product and that makes you biased, or for some reason you're just a particular fan of yet another electric crossover. Oh my god, how many of these frickin' SUVs do we have to have on the market? But y'all are taking things way too personally, and I think you have no one to blame but Fisker himself. Basically, in case you're out of the loop on the subject, MKBHD, which is one of, in my opinion, the best tech YouTubers in the world, posted a video on his autofocus channel explaining why the Fisker Ocean was the worst car he ever reviewed. Pretty harsh title, but you watch the video, and he has a lot of noteworthy complaints, and may I emphasize, he is by far not the only person to actually report most of the issues in that video. Marquez's talent is finding ways of just simplifying very complicated subjects down to their core essential bullet points, which is part of the reason why he's such an extreme success on YouTube. He can take complicated subjects and make them digestible and easy to understand for the masses, and he summarized the whole Fisker Ocean situation pretty well, and I think completely honestly. And yet at the same time, I've been seeing tweets, I've been seeing response videos, and all kinds of accusations about him shorting the stock or acting like Marquez is the one who tanked the company, or he's the one who's killing Fisker Ocean demand. No. Oh my god, you guys could not have this more wrong. All Marquez did is explain to you reality in a way that is quite upsetting, because a lot of y'all are in denial of the situation, and because there haven't been a lot of mainstream media coverage from the big YouTubers on what exactly is wrong with this company and its brand. It's probably easy for y'all to get confused and get lost in the weeds and just think, oh, well, clearly there's nothing wrong with this product, but Marquez went out there and said mean things about it. Now nobody's gonna want to buy the product, right? No, he accurately and articulately just explained his experience with it, which was not unique to him. I've watched countless other Fisker Ocean reviews, all with very similar criticisms about the key fob, about the software, about the bugginess of it all, about how the company has communicated to them in the past, and it did not help at all, of course, that Marquez was asked by the company not to review the car, which in my opinion is a huge red flag. And then, of course, when he did borrow one from a dealer to do a review, which in my opinion is totally fair, Marquez's goal is to replicate the experience that everyday people are going to be having when they purchase these vehicles, and Fisker executives reached out to that dealer that let Marquez borrow the vehicle and basically chewed them out and was getting very upset, and they probably wouldn't have said a lot of the things they said if they knew that the phone call was being recorded. But it's an incredibly bad look for the company to start attacking the exact salespeople that you're kind of relying on to keep the business afloat. I've read into the Fisker financials, and of course they do not look good, but what's interesting is I've seen interviews with Fisker himself, and he acts like their vehicles are profitable, which I'm not entirely sure if that's super accurate. Maybe in some closed box mathematical way they're profitable, but from what I can tell, the main reason Fisker Ocean started transitioning away from what most startups do, which is direct to consumer sales, is because they couldn't find enough customers. Like, maybe it had something to do with the bad software, or the fact that nothing about the vehicle was completely extraordinary. Everything about it is kind of Fisker acts like, oh, our vehicle starts at $39,000, but most of the ones that they're actually building are closer to $70,000, and for $70K, there is so many better vehicles out there with reliable software or just better user experiences, and the Ocean didn't really have anything unique, in my opinion, that set it apart from the rest of the competition that was actually noteworthy, other than, you know, California mode. Wow, the rear windows roll down, that's cool. But as I mentioned in my message to legacy automaker videos, software is a key point to get right, especially if you're going to make a vehicle that is so heavily reliant on it. And because there was shriveling up demand for these vehicles, Fisker had announced that they are transitioning to more of a dealer model where they sell in bulk a bunch of Fisker Oceans to dealerships and then assume that the dealers are going to be able to do the financing or find customers to actually buy the product. And I guess when Marquez goes out there and reviews the product and tells everyone, hey, this still isn't great, whether you buy it from Fisker or a dealer, the experience is clunky, and that's, in my opinion, absolutely something that everyday consumers should be aware of before they spend close to $70,000 on a car. They should know whether or not the key fob works, you know, very basic things like that. And I thought very eloquently Marquez also brought up in the video that yes, Fisker asked him not to review it because they are promising promising that there's this big 2.0 software update that's going to fix a lot of the software bugs with the car. He disclosed that, okay? So anybody who you're worried about being scared off from buying one of those cars should have been aware that, okay, the Fisker company themselves is willing to try to convince reviewers not to review the product, because that means the vehicles in their current form have pretty bad software. The company is aware of this, and they have a fix that's slowly rolling out. There's more and more people that are getting the 2.0 software update for the Ocean. I've watched a few videos of owners that have gotten the update, and it does seem better, but when a company on their own earnings calls is straight up telling people that they may not have cash to last them for the remainder of the year, and of course they start hiring accountants and lawyers to handle bankruptcy filing, and the stock loses over half of its value within a single day, that's one of the factors as to why just telling people that, oh, well, hey, guys, we have a software update coming later that'll fix a lot of these problems, that might not be enough, because if there's a lot of problems with the vehicle, which there have been, I've seen reviews complaining about phantom drains overnight, the 12-volt battery dying, you're gonna be concerned about your vehicle's warranty, especially for dropping that kind of money on it, if the company isn't sure it's going to exist in a couple of months. That's absolutely something that the public should know before buying these vehicles, and Fisker, if you want my opinion, if you don't want people reviewing your cars, then don't sell them, okay? There's no reason you should be asking for everyday people to pay you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for a car, while at the same time ask someone in the media not to review it, not to document their experience, because you know it's bad, and if you know it's bad, do not be selling vehicles with this promise of a future update that's going to eventually fix all of these bugs, if you don't even know if the company's going to exist for that much longer. You can't promise software updates if you can't promise that the company can stay afloat. This is absolutely why I want to remind people that a company delivering products that are in production to everyday consumers is not the end-all be-all. So many people look at Aptera this way and just assume, oh, well, because you haven't delivered the product yet, therefore it's vaporware, therefore it's not a real company. Where the truth is, there's a lot of companies that get pressured by investors and by their reservation holders and potential customers out there that, oh crap, we gotta get this vehicle out there, we've gotta produce it, we've gotta ship it, we've gotta deliver it before we think through, is this product profitable, or does this product have functioning software? Does this product actually work the way it's intended to work? When you rush products out there and you don't do your due diligence on all of these things, that's what can actually kill the company, is trying to grow too fast, trying to get to market and appease in the short term those investors and those shareholders. Well, we gotta deliver products, right? As long as we deliver it on time, because keep in mind, Fisker was one of the rare companies that actually stuck to their timelines. They weren't late, like so many of us like to complain with other startups, but what did it cost them? It involved rushing the product before it was ready, ticking off a bunch of the early customers, and that leaving scathing reviews and really, really negative brand power associated now with the company that's almost impossible to reverse, especially after complaining about an honest review of the product and saying it's not very great, or reaching a point where you straight up are delivering products to people right now, but at the same time turning around and saying, please, YouTubers and media journalists, don't review the product because we know it's not good, but we're gonna fix it down the road. No, that's too late. If the product's not good enough to review, then it's definitely not good enough to sell, in my opinion, which is why companies like Aptera, I think, are being a lot more smart with it, designing the app and designing the car software before it enters mass production, and making sure that they don't start too slowly so they don't bankrupt themselves, and make sure that every part of the vehicle is as simple and as scalable and profitable as possible, so that when production starts, you've got nowhere to go but up from there, and you, of course, can improve on the product, but you definitely don't want to be shipping anything that you straight up tell people not to review, but at the same time ask money for. Lordstown made this mistake of shipping products before they were ready. Lucid arguably has this exact same issue with a lot of the software bugs and unreliability of charging infrastructure, and now Fisker Ocean seems to be looking like the same fate. You absolutely can bring a vehicle or a product to market way too soon, and that honestly ends up killing a lot of these startups more so than any other mistake. They rush to market too fast. Sometimes the good things, they take time. I get we're impatient. I know we've been waiting a long time for vehicles like the Aptera, and we get upset when it doesn't really fit into their originally promised timelines. But same thing with Tesla. You know, you can have a very successful, very big, profitable company with lots of cash that is pretty much late on everything, because Tesla knows it's better to be late and right right than it is to be early and wrong. And yes, just so we're clear, I feel the same way about Tesla and full self-driving. I don't think they should be charging $12,000 for it or $200 a month for it when it's clearly not full self-driving. I think it should be either far, far, far cheaper or free to use while it's in its beta phase, and maybe when it starts bringing in level 3, level 4 autonomous driving, then you can start charging those big bucks for it. But Tesla's not off the hook, in my opinion, from this business model either. At least Tesla is not straight up telling YouTubers, like, don't review this software. They know that if they send FSD beta out to a car, flaws and all, that people are going to talk about their experience, people are going to document the bad things that happen, and they encourage people to be as responsible and safe with it as possible because they know it can do the wrong thing at the wrong time. But they're definitely not ratting out people just for experiencing the product and sharing their experience. What do you guys think of Fisker Ocean? Do you think this company is going to survive? Or do you think it's going to be the second time, unfortunately, that Fisker has to close up shop with a vehicle that they just couldn't find enough buyers for? Feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.